Hi everybody, I have the GoPro Mission 1 Pro here, and they've also released just a standard Mission 1, and they have some really impressive spec. Most notably having 50 megapixel photos, 8K video in open gate, and even 32 times slow motion. The reason it's able to do that is because this camera has a brand new 1-inch sensor, which is allowing for that large resolution. But it's not just resolution that they've actually improved, because they also have a dual gain output when shooting in HDR, which means that, well, it actually does two things. That one is it improves low light performance because of that dual gain output, but two is what it also does is improves dynamic range. That means that if you're shooting in low lit environments or you're shooting in particularly contrasty environments, you will get a much better and more usable image than some of the previous iterations of GoPros. But let me kick straight into the video capabilities of this camera, because I think that's really where it shines. And actually, I was lucky enough to go to the famous Gloucestershire cheese rolling event a few days ago. And I brought the camera along, which I just thought was such a fun way to test some of these recording capabilities. Let me start off with the 8K modes. It can shoot 8K up to 30p, as I mentioned, in open gate. That is a 4:3 aspect ratio, so it's a bit more square than the standard 16:9. One of the reasons that's so useful is in the modern age of sort of reframing stuff for socials, it means that this camera can shoot that more square image. So if you, let's say, wanted to give a landscape delivery, then it gives you the option for a landscape delivery, but then when you're cropping into vertical, your frame will be essentially more similar to what you actually shot in camera than if you were to shoot in 16:9 and then reframe for 9:16. But if you don't need that and you're happy to shoot in 16:9, then it can shoot 8K up to 60p. So you're still actually getting slow motion when shooting in 8K, which is really impressive. If we then dropped it down to 4K, you get that up to 240 frames. So that is super slow, and that's in 4K, which is still a really, really solid resolution. And it can also shoot in 4K open gate as well, and it can do that in slow motion too. But when it comes to 1080, that's where the real shock was with this product for me, having 32 times slow-mo, or actually 960 frames per second. So that's actually, the frames per second is almost up there with the resolution. You know, 960 is not much lower than 1080. That is just bonkers. I do think 32 times slow motion is a little bit extreme. I think that it's very niche. There's not that many situations which you're going to be using it, but a lot of the situations that you will be using it, a GoPro is very well designed for, because I would really only sort of save that level of slow-mo for really dramatic moments, often to do with some action. So naturally it does pair perfectly with this sort of camera. But it's not just resolution and frame rates you get to play with this camera, because you can also dial in your bitrate, so you can make sure you know exactly how detailed your video is, and that maxes out at 240 megabits a second. But you can also control your bit depth. So that means that the camera can shoot in pretty much all of the modes up to 10-bit color, which of course means you're going to have a lot more flexibility. Pairs really nicely with the increased dynamic range. One other thing it can do is auto tracking. So what you can do is you can select a subject, and then it will make sure that that subject always stays roughly in the center of the frame. Again, it will do that via crops, so you will lose a little bit of resolution. That is something that you could achieve yourself in post, but achieving it in post would take quite a long time. You might get a slightly better result, but you're going to have to sink a lot more hours into it. So the fact that they have it baked into the camera is really nice, because it just keeps things simple. Of course, it pairs quite nicely with many of the use cases of a GoPro, because let's say I was using a GoPro for some sort of extreme sport, perhaps paragliding or something like that, then it means that I'm not going to be operating the camera while you're paragliding. You're just not going to be. So that means that the camera can frame for you in those moments when you aren't able to frame yourself. They've massively improved the audio on the Mission 1 Pro as well, having 4 microphones dotted around the body, 32-bit float, and the ability to use the USB-C port to plug in your USB-C mics. It just gives you loads of different options. As I mentioned at the start of the video, they obviously are releasing the Mission 1 Pro and the standard Mission 1. So just to clarify the differences between those two cameras, which they are minimal, most of the features are pretty much the same. The only real difference is that the non-Pro version cannot shoot 8K open gate. The open gate maxes out at 4K. It cannot shoot 32 times slow-mo. The slow-mo maxes out at 8 times, so that is quite a significant difference there. And the regular one cannot shoot 8K slow-mo, whereas the Pro can shoot 8K slow-mo up to 60p. So that's the real question you need to ask yourself in terms of whether to buy the Pro or the regular version is 8K slow-mo something you're interested in? Is 8K open gate something you're interested in? And do you want that ridiculous 32 times slow-mo, or is 8 times enough for you? So what's my initial impression of the Mission 1 GoPro series? Well, I think it's a really big upgrade, actually, from some of the other GoPros. I think you'll immediately see that in the image quality and some of the clips in this video. 8K open gate is something that most professional video mirrorless cameras don't offer, so the fact that it's in this little package is pretty mind-blowing to me, actually. And I think that's actually where I really want to get at with this review is I'd felt like previously GoPros, they were very much for the niche of action. If you're not doing action, often you might be better off using an alternate camera because the image quality and the lenses that you get with them, they're really nice, but they just have a very distinct GoPro look. Sometimes it's a little distracting. It's nicer to use bigger mirrorless camera bodies with big dedicated interchangeable lens systems. And I mean, of course, they're still always going to have superior image quality, but the GoPro Mission 1 is sort of narrowing that gap, which means that there's going to be more applications for a camera like this on a professional set. Whether that's for doing a very particular shot, perhaps something underwater, anything involving more extreme environments. Of course, the GoPro is going to be good where you won't want to risk your normal camera body, but also for a sense of something like behind the scenes as well, because the image quality is so much better with this. Before, where maybe you wanted a dedicated behind the scenes shooter because you wanted to have really good quality behind the scenes stuff. Now, using auto tracking modes and things like that, the GoPro can sort of do its own job of being its camera operator for you, and that image quality has been a massive jump up. That's it from me though. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one.